Have you had a chance to visit Puerto Rico yet? I am definitely a latecomer to the beauty and mellowness of this amazing tropical paradise. We are visiting Isabela, Puerto Rico, which is located on the northwest side of the island, for 10 days. So I thought I would share with you what you need to know before you go to Puerto Rico.
I've packed my bags and now I'm gone somewhere between the sun and the deep blue sea.
Hey y'all, I'm Christi, the Gen X Gypsy, and welcome back. This is one of my series on Know Before You Go, and this time it's about the island of Puerto Rico. Now it is an island, so remember everything is going to run on island time. Isabela, Puerto Rico especially, is a surfer community, so you just need to embrace your inner Spicoli and just relax, man. Now before you arrive in Puerto Rico, you are going to have to fill out an account on their Travel Safe Puerto Rico portal, where you're going to have to upload your current vaccine status or a negative PCR test before you can come into the territory. You will set up that account, and at the end they will send you a QR code. Now I took a picture of that QR code and saved it in my photos, because when you get done at the airport, after you've gotten off the plane and you've gotten your baggage, before you can get out of the door of the airport, you will have to show somebody that QR code and your ID. So make sure when you are done with baggage, or if you are traveling with just carry-on, have your QR code and your ID ready as you get towards the exit of the airport. You do need to be careful about the rip currents here. So far, we have not seen a single lifeguard at any of the beaches that we've been to. So check with the local or your weather report about the rip currents while you are staying here, because you could either get sucked out to sea, or with all of the reef and coral here, you could end up with a very painful swim. And speaking of reefs, over 50% of the world's reefs have died since 1950. So when you come to Puerto Rico, make sure that you bring your reef-safe sunscreen, because no matter what you do here in Puerto Rico, especially in Isabela, you are going to need to wear a sunscreen no matter what. You definitely don't want to miss the Bat Caves, the Cueva del Viento. However, when you go on that hike, make sure you wear sturdy shoes, and when you get to the staircase that goes down into the Bat Caves, you're going to want to be extremely careful. A lot of the stairs are in major disrepair, especially the main staircase going down into the caves. You also want to be on the lookout on your way up from the stairs to look in the netting above you, because there may be a snake taking a rest. If you are planning on long runs or long walks on the beach here, be prepared for really soft sand, like sink to your ankles kind of sand. Because Puerto Rico is so close to the equator, there's not a lot of tidal changes, so there's not room for the water to go out and leave hard-packed sand. So you are probably going to sink when you run and walk. We did a really long walk on the beach the other day, and I was wishing for something like snowshoes for the sand. When you're visiting, make sure you take an opportunity to go snorkeling. The water here is so clear and beautiful. There are reefs surrounding Puerto Rico, so even in the shallow beaches, it is a gorgeous place to snorkel. Hobos is an especially great place for beginning snorkeling, because you can go in waist-deep water and see beautiful fish. Now, Shack's Beach is probably a little more intermediate, because it does involve more reefs and the water is a little deeper. There is a lazy river current that kind of pulls you between two reef ledges at Shack's Beach, but you would definitely want to get some guidance from a local, and always make sure to check on those rip currents, because they are no joke. If you are going to fly into Aguadilla here in Isabela, that is a smaller airport that is on Puerto Rico, be prepared to come and leave in the middle of the night. In fact, they jokingly refer to them as the zombie flights. United, Spirit Air, and JetBlue all provide service to Aguadilla, but the airport doesn't even open until 1 a.m. If you do decide to fly into San Juan, just be prepared for a 2.5-hour, pretty congested drive to get out to the Isabela area. You will have to rent a rental car when you come to Puerto Rico because there is not a lot of walkable neighborhoods here. And if you want to see all the sights and do all the hiking and stuff like that, a rental car is definitely a necessity. We have found that Expedia is probably the best place to book your rental car. And one of the hacks is to book it well in advance, especially these days when there is a shortage of rental cars. And unfortunately, they are running about 30 to 40% more than they have in the past because of our shortage of cars. Now, once you've booked it, you want to check again about 2 weeks before your trip and see if there have been any drops in the fares, because sometimes that does happen and you'll get a much better deal. Make sure you get an opportunity to try mofungos. Mofungos is a Puerto Rican dish that's actually made with green plantains. They pick the plantains green and then they are fried up and they mix them with like a broth and olive oil and garlic, and it is just so delicious. You can get it with any type of meat you want, from local snapper to churrasco, which is their version of grilled beef. I couldn't get enough of it, so make sure you try that when you're in Puerto Rico. And lastly, leave your high heels and fancy dresses at home, because all you need here are bathing suits, sundresses, and flip-flops. You also need your sunglasses and the hat too, because the sun is really, really bright. If you want to see what I packed for 10 days in Puerto Rico, check out this video next. Have a great day, and I'll see you